Hello and welcome back to another episode of Insufferable with me, your host, Lindsay Howe, episode 58. Today we're talking Love Island, okay? Spoiler alert, if you are not into Love Island, you are not going to relate to this episode. Okay, girl, so that's okay. You don't have to watch this one. We are going to be dissecting, okay? And there has been a lot of dissecting going on the internet as of late, and there are just many topics that I have not seen people clock. Okay, it is not clocking to you guys. A couple of points that I am determined to bring up here today. Okay, here's the thing about Love Island. It is a you know it's a psychological thriller in a way. Okay. We are collectively watching a horror movie. Okay. The horrors are truly horroring watching this season of Love Island USA. Season 8, I believe. Okay. And we're going to start with the hot topic, which is Casey and Anaya. Okay. Now, listen here and listen closely because no one has clocked this the way I'm about to clock it, okay? And if you are pro KC, after this discussion, you are a demon. And that's okay, okay? You can walk this earth as a demon just as you could walk this earth as an angel. It's your choice. But we need people like myself to come out and say a different perspective that no one is really talking about. Okay, so let's get into it. The thing about Casey and Anaya is that they do not have a connection. Neither of them have a connection with the other one. And that is very apparent to us all. Okay, everyone's clocked that. That is no secret. I know up until this point, what we have seen via the editing is Inaya's incredible how you say insecurities. Okay, Anaya unfortunately is very insecure, which to a viewer like me doesn't make any sense because she is that bitch. She is Gorgina. Okay, she is smart. She is in a family business, and that family business low-key looks like it's a wealthy family business. Okay, she is likely wealthy. I don't know that about her. I have not snooped on everyone's Instagrams, yet, so I don't really know, what are the vibes. I think I looked at Soul's Instagram like once. Sorry, I'm going to use Hank to prop me up here. Thanks, Hank. Anaya is a bad bitch. Okay? Unfortunately, she does not know that. I don't know what is going to have to happen to her in her life for her to finally figure that out. In my personal experience, it is age, okay? Time heals everything. Heals all, or whatever the saying is. Okay? But up until this point, and a full disclosure, I have gotten to movie night part 1. Okay? Movie night part 2 comes out in like 2.5 hours. But I didn't want to wait. I didn't want to wait because I know what's going on and I know what we're going to see. And will my jaw be on the floor? Yeah, it will. Yes, it will. Because that first movie night, it's crazy how we've all seen that. We've been watching it this whole time. But when you watch it back to back clips of these men being ain't shit, for lack of a better word, it is jarring. It is disturbing. Okay. I am disturbed um by the actions of the men, and I am annoyed at the actions of the women. Okay, so let's get into it. Casey and Anaya, they do not have a connection. They were paired up because by default, right? We all know that. Nobody was behind Casey's door. He's never going to get over it. It really wasn't that long ago, it was like 3 weeks ago. But this all really proves my point about Casey, okay? We'll get there. They do not have a connection. I talked to my phone to get some points down. Okay, I've prepared for this, which if you watch this episode, if you watch this podcast, you know that I don't really preparation is not really my strong suit with this podcast. I just come on here and I just talk my shit, okay? So, what a lot of people are not seeing and reading between the lines about Casey and Anaya is that it's very obvious to me that Anaya is in like Casey is treating Anaya as a placeholder. Okay? If you've never been someone's placeholder in real life, this will not clock to you as deeply as it clocks to me. Okay? I have been a placeholder many times in my career as not really a girlfriend because I was always a placeholder. Okay? And when you are a placeholder for a man, they don't say that to you right out. Okay. It would be easier if they did. But when you are a young girl, you're 21, 22, 23, and a man has you as a placeholder. These conversations that Casey is having with Anaya are striking me and bringing me back to those conversations that I had in real life with real men. Okay. And I was too weak to know it at the time because I was only, 22 years old or whatever. That is the downside of being a young woman. Okay. We do not know how to stick up for ourselves. We do not know how to advocate for ourselves. Okay. These Gen Zers on this show, they know a little bit more. Okay. A millennial woman, we didn't really learn that until like our 30s, or I'm just speaking for myself. Okay. You might relate to this, you might not. Take what resonates, leave what does not. Okay. So what do I have written here? A lot of people are not seeing and reading between the lines of the connection between Casey and Anaya is the fact that it is clearly obvious to me that Casey is keeping Anaya as a placeholder. Every conversation that Casey has with Anaya where he is reassuring her is a conversation that I have been a part of many times in my relationships. I have also been a placeholder many times. I have been on the receiving end of these reassuring conversations, okay, where I could tell that he was just telling me what I needed to know in the moment, to keep me in my placeholder position, okay? He wasn't going to straight out say, I am waiting for someone better to come along. And until then, you are welcome to sleep over at my house, play girlfriend in my home, do girlfriend activities with me, sleep with me and all that stuff. You are allotted all of these glorious things that men seem to think that is the prize, is getting to do all of those girlfriend things with the man. Okay. You are allowed to do that, they say. But I'm just not ready for like a relationship, right? There's always that tone with the conversation. Okay. I know that Anaya can tell. She can sense. Okay. It doesn't matter how young of a woman you are, how healed and aware you are. Women's intuition it never strays. It is always correct. So when we are seeing these edits on the show of Casey giving her, the blueprint conversation and, being like kind of sort of saying nice things to her, she knows that he is only saying this because he is the only other connection that he has in this house. And the same with her, by the way. She does not have another connection either. Okay. It was definitely couples island right off the bat in this bitch. Okay. Not a lot of exploring going on. Okay. And we got the first bombshell, which was Soul, wasn't it? Soul and Jen, they came in together. That was the first like bombshell that we had that, really blew the place up. And God bless Soul. God bless her soul, if you know what I mean. She couldn't stand a chance in there, even though she was Gorgina. There was too much animosity between everyone at that point to even like think of giving up their couple. Okay. The only one who really stood a chance, Sincere, obviously he is going to explore. We will get to him later. We know that Casey wanted to explore Soul. Okay. And everyone is blaming it on Anaya that he didn't do so, which is valid in its own way. She knew that when someone came in that Casey was going to dip. Okay. But here's the thing about Casey. He's giving incel. Okay. He didn't not explore Soul because he didn't want to hurt Anaya's feelings. He didn't explore Soul because he was afraid to be rejected by Soul. And of course, Sincere, being the open fuckboy that he is, he swooped in pretty soon on Soul. And America really wanted him and Melanie to break up because at that point, the edit was Melanie was being crazy and Soul was trying to reassure her all the time, even though we know now Melanie was never crazy. Everybody was saying she's Hooded 2.0, which I said that she's Hooded 2.0 and all that shit. But Casey did not explore Soul because he did not want to compete with Sincere, and B, he did not want to be rejected by Soul. Okay. And then there's probably like three other reasons. And then option F is that he didn't want to hurt Anaya's feelings. Okay. I'm sure Anaya was feeling some type of way when Soul came in because she knew that this is what Casey's been waiting for the whole time, which, is kind of the whole shtick of Love Island. Okay. Which is why Love Island is so toxic. It is a constant state of your man cheating on you or your girl cheating on you. That is kind of what Love Island is. That's why it's hot tea. That's why that's why people get so invested, you know? But I don't think that the main reason that he didn't explore Soul was because of Anaya. I think it was because he didn't want to compete with Sincere and he didn't want to get rejected by Soul. Okay. That is the moment that the incel nature of KC really slipped in for me. It really got on the radar for me. And I never liked KC because he chose the plant door. And I love plants, but like I don't really like people who don't like animals. So if you had to choose between a dog, a cat, and a plant, if you're not choosing the dog or the cat, I'm not really interested. And that's just me personally. And I love plants. I got plants all over my fucking house. But it kind of gives like, oh, he's not an animal person, so I don't like him anymore. That was just me personally. Okay. And then when him and fucking KC, when him and Anaya had like one of their first conversations after getting paired up, by default, he was already like, I'm not putting my jacket on the ground over a puddle for you type shit. Cause she like was like, no, I really like manly, like providers, protectors. Like that's the kind of man that I like. I like a strong man. Heaven forbid a bitch wants a man. Okay. And right off the bat, Casey was like, yeah, I'm not doing all that. I'm not doing all that. Go ahead and tell me like what you mean by that. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, chivalry is dead in my soul. I do not do all of that. I'm not gonna do too much. And I didn't fucking like that about him. I didn't like that either. She's over here telling you like she likes a strong man, and you're over here like, well, don't expect that from me because that's not the kind of guy I am. I think that's when it set in for her that he's not trying to impress her at all because he doesn't fucking like her. He just got paired up with her by default. Okay? If you were dating a man and he was right off the bat trying to weasel around all of the qualities that you're saying you like in a man, it's kind of a double-edged sword. Like you could be dating a man and they tell you everything you want to hear, like, oh, I'm super chivalrous, even though they're not, but they're trying to get you. They're trying to impress you. So they are going to say, like, yeah, like, I'll always open your car door. I'll always pull out your chair, like that old school kind of like manly treatment. Like, I really like to do that. You know what I mean? And then later on down the line, they can figure out themselves that they aren't really capable of being that kind of man. And then that's a whole other thing. But right off the bat, he started checking off boxes of shit that she said that she likes in men. And he's like, I'm not doing that. Okay. That was episode 1, I fear. Episode 1 or episode 2. That's when I knew that he does not like her. He is not trying to impress her. He is not trying to get on her good side. He is basically saying, I am waiting for the bombshells to come in because you didn't choose me and I didn't choose you and neither of us want to be here. And so that's how it's going to be. Okay? She knew this. In her soul, she knew this. And you're not going to be able to see that and read between those lines if you haven't been part of a relationship that had that dynamic where you are a placeholder. Okay. I know a lot of people have been through it, but maybe this is opening your eyes to the fact that that's what this fucking relationship was. Okay. He was her placeholder and she was his placeholder. Okay. Unfortunately, as women, we still try to make things work a lot of the time. And, I just think that she was holding out hope, which I never recommend you do as a woman. Don't ever hold out hope. Don't be a Captain Fix-a-Hoe. Don't think that you're going to be able to change that man. You are not. He is trash. Just, you have to let those men slip through your fingers because if not, you're going to be white knuckling that relationship for the rest of your life or however long it lasts. Okay. So that shit happened in episode 1 or 2. Okay. So I have not liked Casey since then. And he is a handsome guy and he has good style too. He didn't have good style in the first 2 episodes, but he kind of grew on me with his style. Okay. He has a terrible haircut. I don't know why anyone's not talking about it. Someone needs to address the haircut. What is going on with it? It's bad. Moving on. Okay, what else do I have written here? Okay. This was me talking to my phone earlier. Okay, conversations where I could tell me what I needed to hear in order to keep me stay in the place that I was, that something better was going to come along for him. And when that time came, I would be left in the dust. Okay, so that's the conversation. It's like, yes, I'm trying to assure you, I'm trying to still extract all of the girlfriend and partnership from you, but I'm going to say I'm not ready for a long-term relationship because I am waiting for something better to come along. Okay. After so many of those conversations, that is why Anaya starts like walking away from the conversations when she can tell it's not genuine. I know this exact situation. So we do have a montage of clips and they will probably show them tonight on part 2 of movie night that she just starts walking away from the conversations. And she also mentioned several times that he can't be serious. He can't like get deep with her because he knows if he gets deep with her, he's going to have to reveal that he doesn't fucking like her like that. And then he's going to have to see her happy with the bombshell that comes in. And he's so scared to get rejected by a bombshell because the rejection from the empty door in episode 1 is going to live inside him for the remainder of this season. Okay. And I'm not really dogging him for that. That is a hard thing to handle. It's embarrassing. You're on TV. Nobody chose you. But you know what? You chose the plant door. And then in your fucking confessional, you were like, I was just trying to be quirky. I was trying to, you weren't even being honest about being a plant guy. You were just doing it to maybe impress some of the girls. Like he even says that in his fucking confessional that it's like I was trying to be edgy. I thought they would like that, but it turns out like nobody liked that. And that's what made you have an empty fucking door. You know what I mean? Like everything that happens to him is his own fucking fault. It's his own fault. And he gets paired up with Anaya by default, and none of these other girls are even interested in him. Now he's in a fucking house full of people who are uninterested in him, and the person he got paired up by default, he doesn't even really like. He doesn't even really like her. But he has this fear inside him now of this embarrassment, this rejection, you know, that he is going to go ahead and try to nurture, quote, end quote, Anaya as best as he can until something better comes along. And then he will go ahead and, you know, if he's willing to, if he has the balls to talk to a bombshell, then he'll do that. But he's blaming Anaya's sensitivity on not talking to bombshells. This is why he chooses to go buck fucking wild at Casa, because now he doesn't have to deal with the repercussions right away with her. She's out of sight, out of mind. Now he can fuck around the way he wants to. Okay. And we're getting there. We're getting to the Casa of it all. Okay. Let me just make sure that I got everything that I said in my little paragraphs here. It is, wait, hold on. Let's see. So, okay, so this also confirms for me when he's in Casa that it's a placeholder situation. Okay, we're jumping forward to Casa, and he's talking to that, not TT, but the other girl. I forget her name. She was Gorgina too. She was, or maybe he was talking to TT. He had basically said, and they showed this movie night too. He was talking to her, and she was like, "Oh, so you're." He's like, yeah, you know who I'm paired up with. And the girl was like, Anaya. Yeah, you're paired up with Anaya. And he was like, yeah. And she's like, is it good? And he was like, for now. That is confirmation that this whole fucking time he's been waiting for a chance to fuck do some bombshell shit. Okay? And that's not the issue. Okay? That's what bombshells are for. You are supposed to do that. He had the opportunity to do that with Soul, and he did not because he was scared. He was fucking scared, and you cannot convince me otherwise. Okay? I think maybe if Sincere wasn't like literally tonguing Soul every fucking chance he got, then Casey might have been more open to do it. But you know what he does instead? He waits until it's Soul's last day. I can't remember if it's like the elimination night or if this is post elimination. I think this might have been post elimination. I can't really remember. But Braun, can you chill, bro? Can you chill? He finally gets the gall to go talk to Soul to be like, yeah, I was gonna pull you for a chat, but I guess it's too late now. Yeah, I guess. Darn, I kind of missed my chance. Bro, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. You had the opportunity to talk to Soul and you were too fucking scared to do it. That's the fucking truth. And now that she's leaving, now you're gonna tell her, like, yeah, I kind of want to, but and he barely fought for her during elimination too. And he was probably doing Sincere a favor by going ahead and letting them eliminate Soul, even though he could have had Soul for himself. He could have had another opportunity to explore her by keeping her on the island, you know, and eliminating Jen instead, which, like, you know, she ain't the worst bitch ever, but she don't belong on Love Island. I just want her to enjoy her vacation, to be honest. I have no beef with her, but she should have got eliminated instead of Soul. But of course, there was drama between Sincere and Soul and Melanie. And so instead of doing what was right for him, which was let's keep Soul so I can fucking buck up and actually fucking talk to her. Okay. I don't know if buck up is even the term that you're supposed to use. Man up. Man up and talk to Soul. Okay. You're going to hurt fucking Anaya's feelings, whatever. You're going to need to do that to her so that she realizes or she gets that confirmation solidifies for her that she can go ahead and talk to a bombshell that comes in too. She was trying really hard to keep that connection going because you were also her placeholder. Okay, let's not get it twisted. Okay, I am pro Anaya, but I am not saying that Anaya is not super fucking annoying and really insecure, and it kind of pissed me off the whole time. Okay. Let's see. After so many of those conversations, that is when he says, yeah, it's good for now. That just confirmed to me that he's literally holding her as a placeholder. The connection is only good for now. He's trying to keep it at like a solid place so he doesn't have to give it up because something better hasn't come along yet. We could say the same about Anaya. He is a placeholder for her because neither one of them have connections outside of that. Okay. Now, where I'm really mad at her is that she didn't stay true to her gut and when she had the option to choose Carl. She she has known for weeks that Casey is not into her and placing Casey is not into her and he says to her and everything he says to her, sorry, I can't even read my own fucking what I said. It was talk to text. Please forgive me. Everything he says to her is just reassuring her to keep her in the place. Keep her in the placeholder. Okay, because he is very self-conscious about being single and vulnerable in this villa. He's not willing to do that. He's not willing to do that. He does not want to be single and vulnerable because he has no other connections and he was been waiting for fucking. Did you see how stoked he was when Casa came? Yeah, bro. He was like, finally, I can get something else as a new placeholder, probably. He's very self-conscious about being single and vulnerable. I think that is pretty clear. He will never get over nobody being behind his door. So being single and vulnerable is not an option for either of them because they are also playing the game. And that's also why she has such an issue with him not being serious in their conversations. Okay. That was brought up a lot. He's not going to get serious with her because he doesn't want to get deep with her. And he already knows that their lives don't mesh, right? She's rich MBA girl, you know, as far as I know, family business type shit. And he is a CNA, which is not a bad career, by the way. That's noble. He's educated. Like he's self-conscious too. It's the self-conscious Olympics here. Who is more self-conscious, her or him? They come from opposite sides of the, you know, life spectrum and they're both very self-conscious about it. And it's so fucking annoying. It's like just fucking like love yourself for once. Jesus Christ. And another thing that gets me fucked up about Casey, when he had that conversation with that other girl in Casa, I can't remember her name, and she was asking him what he's like in the bedroom, and he says some shit like, I'm vanilla, I'm not doing all that shit, blah, blah, blah. That also confirms to me that he has this incel mentality where he thinks that since he's not the super wild guy in the bedroom, since he's the nice guy and he's not going to make you do anything weird in the bedroom, that's also giving him an entitlement about it gives entitlement about him, almost like I'm not asking for much because we all know he doesn't like the fact that Anaya is not being sexual and open with him. And she's not being sexual and open with him because she's not that kind of girl. She's not that kind of girl. Heaven forbid a bitch takes it slow. She knows he doesn't fucking like her. Why would I be giving you fucking French fries or whatever they do over there in the villa if I know that I'm your placeholder and you are mine? We are both waiting for other people to come in. She is trying to make it work more than he is. He is just trying to keep her in her place. Why would she be doing sexual shit with you in the bed? You don't like her. It is obvious to her. The fuck? And he really and that's the thing that I was just saying is he's like, I'm vanilla. I'm not asking for much. Heaven forbid I don't ask for a lot. I just want a little missionary. I just want a little hand job. Bro, he really thinks he's the nice guy and he is not. It's giving obsession. It's giving bear. It's giving he is, and that's why he gave the blueprint conversation. He gave the blueprint speech because he's trying to frame himself as this nice guy, but he genuinely in his heart believes that he deserves these women and their bodies. Okay? None of the women wanted them. They didn't want to give him their body. They didn't want to pair up with him. Okay? Now the girl he's paired up with doesn't want to give him her body either. So now he's just suffering because nobody wants to French fry with him. It's disgusting, to be honest. It's like really disgusting to me. Heaven forbid a bitch takes it slow and says that she's not pressured by the other girls getting French fries in the bedroom, thinking, oh, I should probably do that with my man. So that's not the kind of girl she is. And that's the other thing. The other girls are getting French fries because they like their men. You know what I mean? We haven't really seen a lot going on between Sincere and Melanie in the bed, but I'm sure they are doing some kind of French fry in there. Like I'm sure they are. So, anyways, I think there is a very sinister thing going on here with the incel mentality of it all. Okay. And here is where I'm going to wrap up my thoughts on KC. Okay. He has been waiting for Casa this whole fucking time because he ain't got shit in the villa, right? That we've already established that. Okay. And I think I wrote this down somewhere too. He ain't getting shit in the villa. Casa is on Love Island as the strip club is to the outside world, i.e., everywhere but Fiji. Okay. If you go to Casa and you feel fulfilled as a man because the women are chasing you there, you are probably the same type of man who thinks the strippers at the strip club have a crush on you. Okay? The women in Casa have a very specific agenda to pair up with one of you fuck asses and get back to the villa so they can get in the running to become America's next top Love Islander and win the money. Okay? Those Casa girls are specifically made for that. Just like the strippers, the dancers at the strip club, they want you to spend money. They want you to buy dances. They want you to make it rain on the stage. They want you to buy drinks. They want you to buy them a drink. They want you to spend your money and they want you to keep coming back too. That's why a lot of the dancers will give out their number or give out their Instagram so they can be like, hey, I'm working tonight. Come by the club. Would love to see you. Their agenda is to get you to spend money on them at the club. That is their job. There is no shade on that, okay? They have a very specific agenda. Their intentions are to get money out of you. They don't want you to come back to the club so you can hang out and talk. No, come back to the club and buy a dance from me, okay? That's what Casa is. Casa is the club. Those girls want to get back to the villa. They want to get in the running to become America's next top Love Islander. Okay? So someone like KC, is like, "Oh my god, these girls love me over here." You fucking idiot, of course they do! Of course they do, they're trying to get back to the villa! And they've been watching the show this whole fucking time. So when they get a chance at you at Casa, they're like, I like KC, he's fine. And what's been pissing him off this whole time with his connection is she's not putting out. So I'm going to go ahead and put out right away. Right away. I'm going to fucking shake my ass right in his face. I'm going to talk about sexual stuff with him. I'm going to talk about how he's like in the bedroom. I'm going to fucking lay on the bed with him with my legs spread and he's going to be between me and we're going to have all this shit. We're going to be doing all this fucking physical shit right away. We know that's what he wants and that's what's going to get us back to the villa. Okay. TT, she did her big one. She did her big one. She's fine too. She's Gorgina. Okay. She's a little bit, you know, I hate KC and I don't want her to be with KC either. But she played the game exactly the way it needs to be played. And unfortunately, KC can't see that because he is an incel. He's a red pill incel. He thinks that him and TT have a genuine connection. You know what I mean? Who's to even say that TT is from the same, like, South Central neighborhood as him? You know, I'm not saying that she's not. I'm saying that if I was a Casa girl and I knew that you were from South Central, I'd roll up at Casa and be like, yeah, I'm from South Central. You know what I mean? These girls already know everything about you. That's like a psychic, like looking through your Facebook before your appointment. And then they're like, do you have a mom named Marissa? I'm seeing a Marissa and she's a motherly figure. Yeah, bitch. She's tagged on my Facebook and you already looked at it. Casa is so unserious. Okay? But Casey needed that. He needed that experience so that he could feel wanted. Okay. And there's actually no shame in that. Okay. He did not feel wanted by Anaya because Anaya didn't fucking want him. Why? Because she knew that he didn't want her. It's a fucking cycle if you're not picking up what I'm putting down. Okay. It's not a double standard, by the way. We need we kind of got clips. I know there's gonna be more clips of Sincere and there's gonna be more clips of KC tonight, but it's the looking Anaya in her face and being like, I want to make this work, like I really like you. He was saying stuff like, I'm happy where I'm at. Yeah, because it's the only place you have. It's the only place you have. And as a woman, I know that. I know you don't have anybody else in here. And low key, neither do I. So let's just be real. Let's just be real that neither of us have anywhere else to go. And that's why we're not fucking in the bed because we are not compatible. We don't even like each other. Okay. We are stuck in this situation and we're hoping that something else comes along so that we can try to win this fucking money. And of course, Casey, as soon as he got to Casa and everybody was oogling him or whatever, he was like, let's get this money. Bro, you are not going to win. You won't even be close. You're lucky if you don't fucking get eliminated in the next one, okay? Honestly, I hope it's Sincere because he is Sincere is, I don't want to say he's worse because Sincere is doing exactly what men do, okay? Nothing about what Sincere is doing, it surprises me at all. He is textbook man, okay? Textbook manipulative man. And fortunately for him, he found textbook forgiving woman. Okay. Melanie is too forgiving. She was like, you're making me look like that type of bitch. It's like, at least he's coming home to me every night. You are that kind of bitch, actually, by the way. By the way, girl, you need to stop being like that. You need to put that man out of your mind. You do have other connections. You could explore other things, but instead, you are choosing to be the woman who is constantly forgiving, sincere, and you shouldn't. You shouldn't, because sincere, he and when he says too, when he comes back single from Casa, he's like, I know who Melanie is. I knew she was going to be single here waiting for me. Girl, that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. And I did write down in my notebook that I can't wait to see the clips of him and Amora tonight, because that shit was some fucking bullshit too. Um when she says that he treated Casa like a hall pass, that is exactly, she ate with that. That is exactly what he did. I'm almost certain, I'd be willing to bet that he always knew that he was gonna come back single from Casa, but he was going to fuck when he was there. He was going to fuck around when he was there. It was a hall pass situation. He's giving the man who fucks the dancer at the bachelor party, at his own bachelor party. He's giving the man who fucks your sister in the limo 10 minutes before the wedding ceremony where he's about to get married to you. This is a man that exists in the world. He is not surprising to me at all. And unfortunately, neither is Melanie. I need her to stand up, girl. Stand up. Watching the life drain out of her this entire season is painful for me, because I've seen it happen one too many times. Okay? I am really good at cutting a bitch off. Well, I was. There was one relationship that I was, forgiving a lot. I was doing a Melanie. And I'm not proud of it. I'm not proud of it, but that's why I sympathize with her. She wants to show her loyalty, and she doesn't want to come off like anything. She wants to, I mean, but she's coming off bad, girl. She has to know that. She's coming off bad. She's coming off weak, and I want her to fucking stand up. But everything Sincere is doing does not surprise me at all. However, watching the damn movie night, watching that shit back to back to back to back to back, my jaw was on the floor. I will say. And Sincere too is saying some deep shit to each of these girls too. That's the thing about Casey, is he's not getting deep with anyone. He's definitely not getting deep with Anaya, because the deeper you get, the more the surface, the veil will be lifted. She's gonna find out, everything's gonna clock that he doesn't fucking like you. So he doesn't get deep, and he doesn't take any of their conversations seriously, and she could always feel that. Okay, we already talked about that. Sincere is getting deep with all these girls. He is saying some of the most intimate things to these other girls. And that is what's fucked up, and that's what men be doing. That's what they be doing. For him to sit there with Melanie and be like, "You're all I want. This is all I want forever. It's me and you against the world. Like it's me and you. Like I don't want nothing else." And then not even 5 minutes later, he's talking to Soul like, at the end of the day, this is what I want. Me and you. Me and you, I want to explore this. I'm so into you. I want to kiss. They're making out. They're getting hot and heavy. And then 5 minutes after that, Melanie's like, "Were you guys kissing in there?" And he was like, "It was barely anything." Like she asked me. She asked me to kiss her. And I'm telling you the truth. Like we did kiss, but it was like I wasn't feeling it. I really wasn't feeling it at all. Like, oh my god, dude, it is like fucking clockwork with these men. It really is. And I think I'm running out of time. I don't think I'm gonna have time to talk about every fuck ass man on this show today. What time is it? 45 minutes. Let's just go down the line here. And you know what? I haven't even seen part 2 of movie night. And this is how I be feeling about it. Casey he is unfortunately a very insecure incel. And the fact that he's vanilla in the bed makes me hate him even more. Makes me hate him even more, makes me be like, "Damn, Anaya, you lucked out when you didn't do anything freaky with him because it was probably gonna be boring as fuck. It's probably gonna last 15 seconds, and then he'll probably treat you even more like shit after he fucks you too, because he's insecure because he didn't make you come." You know what I mean? It's oh my god, dude, I feel like I got X-ray vision with these bitches. I feel like I got X-ray vision on these men. I could see right through you. And it started with that fucking plant door when it wasn't even your real answer that you want. You were just trying to be quirky. You thought the girlies was gonna like it. And that was your villain origin story right there. It wasn't the fact that you opened the door and there was no one there. It was the fact that you were insincere about your answer in the first place. You were trying to find out what was going to make you look the cutest instead of being honest. That's the villain origin story, by the way, Casey and your fuck ass. And you know what? We can say the same about Anaya. I will not be sitting here for 45 minutes talking shit about Anaya because she is a woman and I think she's beautiful and I know exactly what she's going through. Okay. The only bad things that she ever said about KC is that he doesn't consider her feelings. And she never even said because she doesn't trust herself enough to be like, I don't think he's being genuine with me. Like, I do, like he's saying that we have a connection and I'm trying to like build the connection, but I just don't think the connection's there. Like, I think he's just keeping me around. And she's doing the same thing to him. They should have brought in more male bombshells because that first bombshell was literally for Kenzie, Caleb, and Kenzie chose Corbin, the ChatGPT model. I swear to God, he is a fucking ChatGPT. Okay. I know I brought this up in the last episode, but when someone asked him, what is he like in a woman? He literally says, I like physical attributes and personality traits. Now, let's just think about that for a second. It looks like he wasn't programmed to have answers for those things. So, personality trait and physical attributes were sort of placeholders in his programming. Okay. He hadn't been programmed with personality traits like funny and spontaneous and, quirky, goofy, what are personality traits, reliable, kind, any kind of personality trait. He wasn't programmed with any of those words, so it just came out as personality trait. Okay, same thing with physical attributes. Okay, he could have said, I like a long hair, I'm an ass guy, or I'm a boobs guy. They're always one or the other. He could have been like, I love brown eyes. I'm a big fan of people's teeth. Like, I don't like veneers. I like when their teeth are like natural and they like look a little bit, they're personal to the person's face. I like a natural face. I don't like I like when girls wear makeup. Like, physical attributes, he could have had some things to say there, but he was not programmed with those words. So he said physical attributes and personality traits. Okay. He is a robot. Kenzie. He's a robot. Okay. And what I'll say last about Corbin is when someone asked him, do you want kids? And if so, how many? He said, I want 3 people. That pulled a burp out of my gut. I want 3 people? Who says that? The program is glitching. Every episode, it's glitching and it's not retaining information either. Because when they ask him, like, they'll be like, you were disrespectful. And he'll be like, well, tell me how I was disrespectful. explain it to me. And they would say, well, you said that Kinsey was thrown out the window. You said that you didn't care about her. You said that you never retracted her anyways, and that she's done with it, and all that stuff that you said was disrespectful. Okay, and then later down in the same scene, they mentioned that he's like, well, but tell me how I was, and then he like glitches out and he goes, oh yeah, I forgot you told me already, bro. If you're going to slide in an AI model into a show that everyone's watching, like you're really trying to like dip your toes in the water of making our reality TV stars not real people, they're AI chatbots. This was a bad start. This was a bad start. Okay? 3 people is crazy. Is crazy. Physical attributes and personality traits is crazy. Like, you cannot convince me that this guy's a real person. What the fuck? Do you guys remember when that oh, AI celebrity on Instagram? I think her name was Michaela. 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 Oh my god. Okay, here it is. Michaela, often known as at it's michaela.la.ai, AI generated digital avatar and fashion model on Instagram who shares virtual lifestyle content. She is part of a broader rise of virtual influencers where AI creators and 3D avatars collaborate with brands and act as synthetic celebrities. Okay. She came out in like, when did she come out? When did she start? This was like in 2016 or something. 2016. The famous AI influencer on Instagram, known as Lil Michaela, made her first post and officially debuted on Instagram in 2016. Okay. You guys remember her. Okay. Can you see this on the screen? This is Michaela. This is what Corbin is giving. And, AI has gotten a lot better since then. Back in 2016, other people were posing with Michaela in their posts like they were actually hanging out, like celebrities and stuff. Be like, selfie with me and Michaela, like they were trying to like con- convince us she was real, but she obviously wasn't. She looks very AI. She looks like, you know, she looks like she was not drawn up, but like animated in like an Avatar universe or like a Pixar universe. Like she looks very, but now in 2026, these AI models are getting very real looking. They are, kind of crazy real looking. So that is why Corbin looks so real, even though he is not. 3 people is crazy. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up there. Yeah, Sincere and Melanie, we're gonna have to talk about them next week if I want to, after movie night part 2 comes out in like an hour and a half. Zach and Kata. Zach is a literal demon, and I can't get into it right now. He is a demonic presence on this show. Kata, she could do better, but she won't because she's got a Melanie situation going on. Bryce and Trinity, do I believe it? I'm not sure. Are they fucking adorable? Yeah, absolutely. They look like a rip curl couple from 2002. They look like they spend a lot of time on the beach together and that they're best friends and they've been together since high school. That's what it gives. Okay. Are they a real couple? I don't know. Are they strategically playing this like so well so they can win? Probably. And I hope they do, to be honest, because nobody else deserves this money. Give it all to Trinity, to be honest. I'm a big Trinity fan. Even though all these girls really do need to shut up when the men are trying to explain themselves. I need to hear them and what they have to say. Is it going to be a lie and trifling? Yes. Yes. But how am I going to get quotes if I can't hear them. Okay. The girls be talking too much during these arguments, and I will say that. Trinity goes off. And she goes off the most because she knows she's the most comfortable in her couple. She knows she's the most comfortable in her couple, so she decides she's gonna yell at everybody when shit's going down. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna call it there, guys. Listen, if you've ever been a placeholder in your life, I'm sure this all makes very much sense to you. If you haven't, then you're probably like, wow, I never saw it that way before. The placeholder character arc of a woman's life is devastating, I will say. Okay, it's happened to me more than once, and that's why I can see it clear as day. Okay. When you're a placeholder, the man does say very, very nice things to you, but it always follows up with, I'm not looking for anything serious. Well, well, well. Look where we're at now. And when Casey said, yeah, my connection's good for now, bitch, bitch, please. Ugh. You should just go home with TT now. Get off our screens. Live a happily ever after with TT. Apparently, she has 2 restraining orders against her. I don't know if how valid that is. Somebody reported on it. I think she was trying to like shoot 2 women or something. I don't know, but I hope that her and Casey have a happily ever after, okay? I got no beef with TT. Well, I have a little bit of beef with her because of the way she talked to the girls on the first night. She's trying to defend her man, but you will always look stupid if you try to defend a man. You will always look stupid, especially when you don't know what that man was doing, like, behind closed doors to other women in his life before you came upon the situation, okay? But she did her big one, she got back to the villa, she won't be winning. Her and Casey will not be winning, but, they did their big one, and they both embarrassed themselves, you know? But low key, I don't really have any beef with, TT. I just, I wish her the best. Do I wish, Casey the best? I don't know. He needs help. He needs help for real. So, anyways, thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Insufferable with me, your host, Lindsay Howe. I will have a manifestation update here in the next 2 weeks that is going to blow you guys out of the water. So stay tuned for that. But until then, I will see you next week. Bye.